What is Cloud VPS hosting? First of all, we need to know what is a VPS. Then we're going to take a look at the difference between Cloud VPS versus cloud hosting. And finally, we'll look at the cost of cloud solutions. What is a VPS? VPS stands for Virtual Private Server. It's a server with its own copy of OS and allocated server resources, and it's within a bigger server. It's essentially a machine that's divided into several compartments with separate server software, and it functions independently of other servers. So looking at the graphic version of it, you're going to have a dedicated server that has the RAM and hard drive space separated, and each VPS is going to use only the resources allocated to it. So if, for instance, VPS number 2 here uses all of its resources and gets bogged down, it's not going to affect the server of VPS number 1. So what's the difference between cloud VPS versus cloud hosting? This is a question that had me wondering for quite some time and took quite a while to really understand the difference. So with cloud VPS, which is essentially what most VPS hosting is now, it runs on multiple clustered servers. It's scalable, and it's customizable based on the needs of project. Whereas cloud hosting, it's also known as cloud computing, it auto-scales as needed. So it's not a set number of resources that's allocated to a server. It's really free-flowing and changes as needed. So it's essentially has built-in load balancers and will work in the way that it needs to work to fulfill the requests that are demanded of it. So when do you use cloud VPS hosting versus cloud hosting? So for cloud VPS, you're going to use it for small to medium e-commerce sites, steady traffic with some small spikes, and generally local business clients sites. For cloud hosting, you're going to need it for large e-commerce sites, large traffic spikes. So whenever you're going to get a large traffic spike, your site needs to be able to expand its resources to accommodate it. It's also going to have redundancy for downtime protection, and it's really more of an enterprise solution. So what are the costs for cloud hosting? Well, Cloud VPS, a managed one, can be gotten for $59 per month from Liquid Web. Cloud hosting, also known as Cloud Sites and Liquid Web, is $150 per month. So SiteGround has a similar product, not quite cloud hosting, closer to Cloud VPS for $80 per month. It's kind of in between the two, but SiteGround you can also get load balancers for it as well. Let's take a look at the difference between Liquid Web versus SiteGround cloud hosting. So Liquid Web, it's $150 per month. It doesn't have a set resources, it auto scales as needed. You get 50 gigabytes of SSD storage space, and it's another $2 per gigabyte. And you get 1 terabyte of bandwidth, and for overages you need 15 cents per gigabyte. It has 100% guaranteed uptime and has load balancers already part of the solution. SiteGround, like I said, it's a little bit more of a VPS hosting. It's $80 per month. You get 2 CPU cores and 4 gigabytes of memory. You get a 40 gig SSD storage, 5 terabytes of bandwidth, with 99.99% guaranteed uptime, and there are no load balancers on it. Where to get VPS hosting? This is a very difficult question to answer because there are dozens, maybe hundreds of different hosting companies out there, and while they often seem to offer the same service, they often don't. So the big question is, are their system resources good? In other words, are they using SSD drives? Are they good at support? So are they 24/7? And are the people knowledgeable? A lot of these places either have not a 24/7 option, or they aren't very knowledgeable. more often than not, you're not going to find out if they're not knowledgeable until you have an issue. And that could be 6 months down the road. And when that issue comes up, is it going to be so significant that you've lost your entire site? I've heard of a lot of options where that's the case. And of course, the support, all they're going to do is either try and funnel you to a knowledge base or pawn you off on somebody else saying that they'll get to it. So in my experience, the two options that have been fantastic, and these are highly reputable and often recommended from my web design colleagues, are Liquid Web and SiteGround. So Liquid Web Cloud VPS starts at $59 per month, as I mentioned before. And you can get 50% off for 3 months using the promo code FASTVPS50. SiteGround starts at $80 per month. And as far as I know, there are no discounts for it at the moment. So either way, you can get both of these options through the links down below.